For this question, we have to support the researcher's claim. There's going to be some science stuff here, obviously. I see Milky Way right at the top. So just make sure you focus on the claim and don't let the other stuff bother you too much. The Milky Way galaxy is composed of millions of stars in a relatively flat structure containing a thin disk and a thick disk. Based on computer simulations and analysis of data on the brightness, position, and chemical composition of about 250,000 stars in the thick disk, collected from 2 telescopes, one in China and one orbiting in space, astrophysicists named whatever claim that the thick disk of the Milky Way formed in 2 distinct phases rather than a single one. So the thick disk is 2 phases. So thick equals 2. Let's just see if we get anything kind of about that. A, the telescopes used by the researchers have detected stars of similar ages in galaxies other than the Milky Way. It doesn't seem to be related at all. It doesn't talk about the disk, doesn't talk about the number of phases. Get rid of it. B, there's an age difference of about 2 billion years between certain stars in the thick disk. Okay, so there's 2 things going on, right? There's older ones and younger ones. So maybe that right there is the 2 phases, right? That there's different ages, so there's different phases. Maybe. I genuinely don't know, right? Because I don't know much about this, and I'm purposely adding a new finding to the passage. So they didn't really talk about this in the passage. But remember, if we focus on this conclusion here, we're kind of like ignoring the passage again. We're kind of back to just like, this is the thing we need to focus on. So let's see what the other choices do, if we can twist them in any way to get us to 2 phases for the formation of this disk. The thin disk contains about twice as many stars that can be seen from Earth as the thick disk does. Well, I don't really care about the thin disk. That wasn't part of their claim. So get rid of it. D, the stars in the Milky Way tend to have very similar chemical compositions. Again, that's not about the disks. So I wouldn't try very hard here to understand why this age difference between the stars results in 2 phases. Like, it's the only one about the thick disk. It's the only one where we can even say that there's 2 different things going on. Keep it. Even if all you cared about was the thick disk, right? This one's about the thick disk, not this one. Well, maybe this one a little bit, but it's not about the thin one. We don't care. This one's not about the thick disk. This one's not about it. Right, so even if you just focused on half of our dumb summary, you're kind of stuck picking B or maybe thinking about C too, and then you can do that idea of the wedge, right? We use the filter, and then the wedge is what makes B and C different. Well, we need something that represents 2 phases. The thin disk is not a phase, right? That we're going to put that aside, and this is why it's so important to recognize in these questions we are being told what to support. We are supporting the researcher's claim. They say, these people claim, right? So focus on that. Yes, they talk about the thin disk earlier in the passage, but who cares? That is not what we're trying to support. So make sure you stay focused on the right things. And a lot of these science passages are going to be much easier because you'll see right away, half of what they tell you in the passage does not even matter.